Mana mana. Mana mana. Mana mana. Manamana, manamana, manamana. Hello and welcome to Backbone Bites. We're a very good friend of mine, the fantastic Alex Petty from Laughing Horse.
Hello, Jimmy. How you doing?
I'm good. You were actually on my original podcast at Lockdown How We Laughed.
Absolutely, yes. Back when we weren't allowed to be in the same country to do this.
Yeah, I know the amount of things you found yourself doing just to keep saying.
Yeah, I'm bored. What should you do? Oh, this podcast sounds good.
My Glasgow guys got a podcast about the lockdown. I've been telling audiences that I'd done a podcast as a time capsule for an important time in history. What I wasn't counting on was it as a time capsule for a time nobody wants to fucking remember.
Well, exactly, yeah. No, it's a very, very interesting times for almost a couple of years.
I know. I've been thinking about that a lot, actually. It's 4 years ago now, and I think another one might just be starting right now.
Yeah, you start to look back. Well, it's again, you look at memories. That's a
lockdown siren.
The sirens are going. We're going to get locked up again.
That's all right. We can do a podcast from the house.
That's it. I was only intending to be up here for the day.
But it was 4 years ago, and it's very, very strange to think that we were in the house for that amount of time.
Yeah. The amount of things we were thinking just to fill the time.
Yeah, man.
Going from literally for me, going from live shows, Adelaide Fringe at the end of it, to how do I get home? That's it. We're now stuck in a room for over a year, pretty much.
Yeah, it's difficult times, but I think we're going to depress ourselves. Let's talk about what's happened since then.
Yes, things have got better since then, thankfully.
Well, I mean, I actually had you on that podcast, and then I came to the Fringe in 2021 when we were finally allowed at the house, and you gave me a good bunch of pick of the Fringe gigs.
Yeah.
And I was working with Maasai Graham, Bob Walsh, and Alex Liam quite a lot. I had loads of gigs every day, and it was absolutely an amazing year. It
was brilliant that year.
Yeah.
Never to be repeated, sadly. But it was the only year the Edinburgh Fringe has had more audience than there is shows.
It was quite interesting. The amount of just people that were probably, a lot of them didn't normally go to the Fringe. Mm-hmm. But they were just glad to be out the house.
Yeah, it was that pent up just feeling of I want to be at the house. I want to see live entertainment. We'd had the Brighton Fringe properly happen in June before that, and it was just being out there and just thinking, this is the first time I've been out, and there's some buskers on the street, and there's some music, and there's people doing things, and I'm in a venue running a show again.
Yeah.
You forget how to run a show after over 12 months of not doing one.
But I think to some extent as well. I mean, I don't know. I don't have that much experience from before that, but it wasn't a necessary reset, but it was a healthy reset.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. It was a healthy reset.
It gave a bit of a breathing room and people to think about the Fringe and why they were doing it and what's happening and what venues should be running and all of those sort of questions.
Yeah, it was a really, really good year. And
it's gone back to madness of everyone doing whatever they want now again.
I know, but now
4 million shows a day.
But now I feel like I've got a bit of experience. So something like this is my third proper year doing the Fringe this year, and thanks to people like you and Bob and Maasai and Alex Liam as well, I feel as if I kind of almost know what I'm doing in the Fringe, and that's spread to kind of Glasgow Comedy Festival and gigs throughout the year, and I mean, I don't like the idea that I benefited from such a catastrophic time for the rest of the world, but it's been great. I'm really glad to have you on the podcast to chat about this.
And it's good to hear positive stories about that. And I think a lot of people have used the time to develop, and there's so many people come through from different areas into comedy because of lockdown.
Yeah, totally.
That it's a great way. And I think it benefits so many people from developing new skills to just having that breather, like you said with the Fringe, just having a bit of a breather and to contemplate. What's happening, how to do things.
And just in case the viewers don't realise, I think that guy who was making the siren there probably hadn't driven an ambulance before the lockdown, so let's let him have it. But so you're up for to organise some stuff for Laughing Horse?
Yeah, I'm up in Edinburgh for a flying visit for one day to do a little bit of organising. We've just got to the Fringe programme deadlines. A couple of things at venues. It's all the boring stuff
just
that
been
needs
missed
to be
by
done.
me.
Yes, you won't be the only one that I'll be telling off for things like that.
Yeah, but I'm on the website, but everybody that's in the brochure, I'm like, oh, I see people with the brochure, and it's like a phone book, and it's not much use anyway. But I'm kind of kicking myself for missing the deadline.
I think it's one of those things that every little bit helps.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the thing that it used to be years ago. Everyone uses the website, everyone uses the app, but people still do sit there and thumb
look
through it over a coffee and look through it. There are people who like to be a bit more old school. So, it may be a smaller percentage of people now, but it's still useful if you can get in there and be part of it. But it's not the be-all and end-all it used to be 10 years ago.
But I think for my show, 3 out of 4 Twats, it's I've retold the show for the third time. It's getting to the stage where that show is essentially comedy's answer to The Fall, and I'm Murky Smith. But I'm really excited about the lineup this year. I've got an act from the Netherlands, an act from the USA, and an act from Zimbabwe via the Orkney Islands.
Oh, fantastic! So, that's an interesting diversion.
It's an interesting dynamic. I'm looking forward to it, and they're all very hard working, great work ethic, very funny, very talented. I'm looking forward to doing it this year. I think there'll be less guests this year, but we'll see. We'll see who actually makes it or who's fit to perform on
who's fit by the time you get to the last weekend.
yeah. And again, it'll be just me. But so I'm looking forward to it, man. That's Cocktail Mafia, and that was the first year that you guys had Cocktail Mafia last year?
Last year was the first year, and it's been a really nice set of guys up there. It's the same guys that own the Raging Bull, so there was a nice little connection in there.
Cool. And
a new place they took on some point over COVID. It was these things, some things happened over COVID, and we started figuring it all out last year. It's a great little space.
Yeah. And we're in Bar 50 just now. It's weird looking at this room when I'm so used to it being a venue.
It's strange here, just with it being bare walls and without the seats and the lighting and things like that.
Yeah.
This is new since last time I was here.
It is, I was thinking about that. How to
there's a light.
So it's a light, neon light that says room 2.
Yeah, they've not got the right name on it. It should be the garden room, but we'll take room 2.
Yeah, and a little known fact is probably the amount of people that usually see comedy in here are going to be the amount of people that see this podcast. So we're equalising on that front.
Excellent. So you're up to 60.
So I'm up to 60. But I like doing this. It's great to have you on and just be able to sit and talk in normal, because I actually forget that, like I said, we were stuck in the house until I've actually done this podcast.
Well, there's two things. The not normal of COVID, but then the not normal of the Edinburgh Fringe month, where sitting down to have a chat with people and just have a sit back, chat about comedy and life, or just have a drink. It doesn't happen because there's no time. There's not a single minute in the day. I
was going to come through last month or 2 months ago to see. I was going to go to Dragonfly.
Oh,
yes. When it was you invited us to the Ross Leslie's night in there. That's a great room as well.
That's a nice space.
Is that still going on? Is he still doing that? Or
I don't know. I've not chatted to him about him. It's strange. I've just spent 4 weeks with Ross in Adelaide, and I don't think we talked about the Dragonfly.
I seen him a couple of weeks ago.
He was too busy going to beaches and running around doing 20 shows a night in Adelaide for the month.
So tell us about that. Tell us about Adelaide. How was that this year?
It was good. It's always such a nice fringe. It's that nice balance of being a really busy, big festival. It's obviously nowhere near Edinburgh, but it's a big fringe that you nose on, that takes over the city, that's got a really big presence. But there's also enough time for downtime, which you never get during Edinburgh Fringe at all. You don't get so much during the weekdays. You get the chance for days off, so you do get the chance to have a bit of a breather and to hang out and spend some time with mates and comedians and go to the beach and things like that.
Which you can't really do in Edinburgh unless
you want. Portobello is lovely, but it's no Adelaide.
So is it just Adelaide or is it Perth as well? You do?
I didn't go to Perth this year.
Right.
We've done Perth in the past, but gave it a miss this year.
Right.
Looking to do that again next year, and then also hopefully go back to Melbourne Comedy Festival, where if I'm there next year, I won't be sitting here at this time next year because that runs into April. So it's been a bit of a slow build up back since COVID, but we're starting to get there and starting.
So it's like you're going to have all your pals up just on Melbourne, and you're like, I had a day trip to Edinburgh.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. There's part of me that doesn't understand. Again, this is the COVID break as well. Before COVID, I did those extra 2 festivals every year, and I'm exhausted now trying to do my year without those 2 festivals. I'm not quite. I don't quite know how I did it.
I think age catches up to us.
Well, yeah, it's definitely age, and I think as well. The Edinburgh Fringe stuff has built much more over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, as well as Brighton Fringe, which we do as well. That's become a much bigger thing. So
and that's in May.
That's in May. That is coming up soon. That's like 3 weeks away now, 3-4 weeks away now. So we're getting down there, building venues down there.
See, I was going to do May. I was going to do Brighton and or Leicester this year, and I kind of threw all my eggs into one basket with Glasgow Comedy Festival. I was really busy there.
Did you go well?
It went well.
Excellent.
Excellent is overselling it. But no, it was good. It was Tuesday to Sunday every week for the whole of March, and there was a couple of quiet shows. I always knew the middle was going to be quite tough. The last weekend and the first weekend were great, but it's not the Fringe. It's not the Fringe. And approaching it like the Fringe, I don't know. Halfway through, I felt as if it had been a mistake, but also learned so much. You know?
Yeah, there's nothing quite like Edinburgh Fringe, that's for certain. I mean, none of the other fringes anywhere close on how it takes over a city and how visual it is. And I've always said one with comedy festivals, comedy festivals are great, but you don't get that visual appearance of a fringe festival by virtue of having all the jugglers, the kids shows, the street entertainment, things like that thrown on top. That gives it a physical presence.
75 years of cultural world building.
Yeah,
you know? It's I mean, I think Glasgow is going to get healthier every year. There was a lot to be. There was a lot to be grateful for. There were some really great nights. Some really fun gigs.
I've heard great things about it over the years. Sadly, one which I'm not around for due to doing the Australia stuff. Yeah. But it's certainly something that should be on the agenda.
Did you know Glasgow was one European city of culture, and you've got more important business down under? No, it's good. It's good. I'd like to see it get better and bigger. But part of the problem we've got, I think, is tourism. Like dovetailing with it. Yeah. Because I noticed there wasn't a lot of international audiences, and in fact, at one point, I started saying to audiences that maybe it was a mistake to advertise the city with fucking Wonka's chocolate experience 2 weeks before the festival.
That was superb. That one, because I saw every story with that.
It was the opposite of superb.
The picture of that Oompa Loompa or whatever she's meant to be stood there.
So I think people might have thought that the whole city chipped in, and that's the best we could come up with. But okay, enough about.
Hang on, you're telling me that wasn't a comedy festival show?
Apparently, it's going to be recreated. Zach Galifianakis in LA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the Banksy exhibition in LA. Zach Galifianakis is involved, in the girl Kirsty Patterson that played Oompa Loompa. She's going to be playing the Oompa Loompa, but they're apparently using the actual props.
Oh, wow!
In LA, and it's very strange.
That sounds very strange.
Yeah, but I don't know. It could just be that
is weird.
One of the strange stories to come out of that viral moment. Yeah. But fortunately, it's not in the news. Okay, so here we are, the first picture. And it's you and I and a selfie and the three sisters in Maggie's chamber.
Yeah, I think that's it must be the look of relief on our faces that it's all over. That's it. We're done. Rip these posters down and let's get out of here at the end of the Fringe.
Well, I think it was the end of 2021. I think that was an extra day. But I remember.
I think so. Yeah. That was it. It was. We decided at the Three Sisters that the Fringe had been so ridiculously good that year that we were going to throw on an extra day of shows, and we at like 24 hours notice everything sold out even on the Monday.
We've been enjoying Fringe heroin so much we went for the Monday methadone session.
I spent most of that year. It was ridiculous because we going from restrictions at the beginning of it to everything being released. To then all of a sudden having full rooms, and then us then adding on extra shows. We at Bar 50, which we're sat in at the moment, wasn't a venue until halfway through the Fringe.
Yep, and that's the gig itself.
Was that the gig that year?
Yeah. That was the last Monday. I don't think I've actually used many from 2021 because the past couple of years I've been so busy. But that was Maggie's chamber. I think it was Gareth Waugh was on that night. Mick McNeil,
such a good year.
Vlad McTavish, yeah. I think actually Mick McNeil took that photograph and sent it to me. and I edited it.
So yeah, Vlad was doing his show earlier that one, and
Yeah, it was
Vlad got on an extra Monday.
next door. Yeah.
Vlad did an extra show in the Three Sisters that year
Alright.
on the Monday,
Yeah.
and within about 48 hours of it going on sale, sold out the 400 whatever 20 seats we had by the end. Might be slightly less with the whatever COVID level of nonsense we were at that time.
I was in that room almost daily with Masai as well, with the pun show. The one that looks like radio. No, the one-liner show.
Oh, the one-liner
show.
Yes.
Yeah. I was almost every day in there, man. And there you are. There you are, packing up.
Classic petty pose, walking around Edinburgh with correct sheeting.
Well, at least you were finally getting to put them away.
Yeah.
Nick Coffey was the host
that was that was probably, they were off to a funeral pyre, those sheets at that point, because it was that last minute Fringe. We just reused what we had in the shed from the year before because no one was expecting a Fringe. So that was we'll just take what we've got and use it.
That always puzzles me. People say there wasn't a Fringe in 2021, and I'm like, excuse me, I think you'll find that there was.
Well, I had that argument as well. People that say there wasn't a Fringe in 2020, and there was one show.
It may have been ramshackle. It may have been done at the drop of a hat, but it happened.
One live show at the Fringe, and that was at the Three Sisters, and Nathan Cassidy doing his show. The only live show at the Fringe in 2020.
There was a live show.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah.
Wow.
We had.
Did they get arrested?
A couple of people. No, it was the day.
That's the following year, 2022. The launch night. That's Sammy C.
Oh
Nick,
yes, of
yourself.
course. That is backstage at the brand new shiny live room. Yeah, it was the first year that existed. Yeah, all getting ready to go. That's great. Yeah, it's such a nice room.
Yeah, it's great. Man.
They've done the change from Gothic room to that is just remarkable.
Yeah, it's real.
It's such a
beautiful
great
feel
room
about it. Yeah. I've done a couple of shows in there in the new one. I don't think I'd ever been in there before when it was before.
Yeah, Gothic. They seem to the company that owns the Three Sisters always really supported it, and there was always we're going to change it this way, we're going to change it that way. And I think over the years in that room, the stage has been on every single wall. There's been every different configuration of seating known to man, but now it's settled like it is at live.
Really nice.
It's superb, absolutely superb.
There was somebody that was actually doing a show there. Out of Fringe.
Oh, look, Dave Chawner.
I remember you telling me that's one of your favourite photographs, Dave Chawner.
Yeah, that's a great. That should be a poster for his one of his shows.
Yeah, I like that one, man.
Lord Chawner sitting in his chair in the corner, directing whatever it is he's doing there.
Funny, I like getting photographs like this, especially in comedy, because it's always those backstage moments. But obviously, you're also cutting about with a camera and annoying people.
No, it's a great photo. It's nice. I was going to say it's the way you frame Dave Chawner, but it's also the way you frame the cleaning fluid that's been left out.
Well, it's to bring the atmosphere of the rooms that we sit in before we go on stage. I've actually got hundreds.
It just says a lot about the Fringe poster posters, and a lot of that is old posters from the venue and around Edinburgh they've put up there. But again, it's that backstage. It's again there's the shoes from whatever cabaret show was on the chair, and Dave collapsed in the corner. and somebody on the sound desk.
No, it's you.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Catherine Henson. Yeah. I think actually, mate, I had a picture of the audience that I didn't use for this. Because it turns out I've taken quite a lot of pictures over the past few years. I have to be quite selective.
Yeah, it's strange sitting with you now. I don't recognise you without a camera attached to your face.
That's why I had my camera when you first seen me, because I got the selfie right away, so you know who I am. Like, it's my pink carnation.
No, it won't be too long before I'm in that position again, and we're launching this year,
2024.
We're down to months.
There wasn't actually a show this year, was there, in the launch night?
No, we didn't. We didn't do the launch show.
Yeah.
It's always tricky putting those launch shows together, so it was more of a party. We did some bands and some music on the stage rather than the show.
Sure,
We'll formulate what exactly we're doing.
It was great that year, the 2022, because it was Charmaine Hughes, Nick was hosting, Vlad McTavish, and about 6 other acts. Dave was on. And talking about Nick, there you are, whispering a secret to him.
That's nice, having a chat with Nick about something, probably telling him to stop overrunning or something like that on between acts.
I actually had Nick on at one of my local gigs, Calabash African Restaurant, and he absolutely loved it, and I'm hoping to get him back very soon to host, because it's a great wee room. It's an insane room, but it's a beautiful
Yeah.
room. We've got free chicken wings.
But that's always going to get Nick up to a gig. Yeah. Well, again, as more and more things are gradually opening up and get back to more, it's easier to get those people like Nick or other acts coming up. You can get several nights together to make it worth a trip to, you know, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and other bits of Scotland over the course of a week or so.
I actually went home and gave me like his forthcoming Glasgow trips that night, so he must have liked that.
Yeah, and that was also a good night because that was that 2021. That was the first time seeing a lot of the people in those photos for a long time.
And there you are.
That I think is the face of right. It's working. It's done. We've built it. They've come. There's a venue. There's people. After
all we're missing now is Shoeless Joe Jackson.
After starting the planning from September the 1st, we're actually there now. And they go, right, that's it. We're done. Can I go and get some sleep now?
I think maybe I was.
Oh no, this is it's a card reader in my hand. Yeah, it's and the most important bit. Let's do the collection.
I hope there's a show this year in 2024, and that you give me a spot.
We shall see. That'll be a mystery.
No, I won't get a spot in Knowledge Night.
Yeah, not quite formulated that. There's a couple of things.
Tell you what, I'm ready to break out my first.
We're going to be doing the launch. So we're also going to have it's the 20th anniversary this year. So we're going to have a big 20th anniversary party halfway through.
Excellent, man.
Which we're taking over the entire counting house for a night.
Oh, superb.
So that should be interesting.
And that was the picks.
That was a pick.
That was a clean pick. It was like 12-15 every day in Maggie's chamber. That's actually taken from a video camera, so it's not as good as my photographs.
That was the first and last year of 12-15 clean pick of the Fringe, because it was like, that is even too early for us. 3:30, where it is now, is perfect.
Every time I swore at that, every time I swore, I never swore more than twice in a show. I would say, okay, I've swore once, I'm allowed 3, and then basically I need to go back to Glasgow until tomorrow. And I get struck out.
You were possibly the inspiration for us now having a swear jar on stage where we can make a
that was worse than me.
On the swear jar.
But you forget, even looking at kids, that you can't swear.
Not the idea, Jimmy.
I was like, oh, swore, okay. I'm allowed 3 of these, I think. And some of the people performing that day.
That must have been that day.
Dave Chawner, Phil. What's Phil's second name?
Dave Chawner. Rich right in the middle, and is that Ben Clover in the middle?
Ben Clover.
Yourself.
Yeah, and Lydia there.
That you've caught the I think about 3 days Lydia was up that year at the beginning, and then went away and then came back up again.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've seen her every day doing that show. She was like my first point of contact that year.
Oh, that was this. This is the hello. We've lost all lighting and it's back.
And it actually doesn't matter because they can't see us. But we've told
that's
you.
Right. We've told them anyway. Yeah.
We want you to be well informed on everything that's happening. Yeah.
Yes, of course. This was 22, so Lydia was up through there. I'm losing track of which year it is. Yeah. Which is not an abnormal thing for just life in general.
It's just being in Edinburgh again. Like, this is up. It's Matt Gray.
Is that Matt Gray falling asleep behind?
I've actually got quite a few.
What looks like him.
I think I'm his official Fringe.
I don't remember
Fringe
the Three Sisters dragging in some toxic barrels of nuclear waste.
It's Matt's props. It's Matt's props.
That's it. Props for his shows.
Yeah. They just look extra toxic because it's.
I also don't remember Matty Gray having a kids show where he dunked the kids in the vats of acid.
Well, I didn't want to say you'll never see those kids again. But just in case you were wondering, that's what happened to them.
That's where they went. That's how he gets 200 people in that room every day when there's a capacity of 120. Is the bodies in the? He lives in Adelaide. He knows about bodies in the barrel.
I've actually got a 2023 photograph of him sleeping in the same spot. But
that's a good little corner there.
The colour isolation's in the neon light rather than the toxic buckets. Yeah. And me and Dave and Lydia again.
Oh, great! Yeah, no, that's a good photo of you with Dave and Lydia there.
Yeah. Obviously we lost Lydia.
Well, yeah. No, that was it. Well, no one knew at the time that was the last. It was a good year. It was a fun year with lots going on, and just a shame not to be repeated.
Yeah, yeah. Every day I would come in and she was just like there. And
yeah, no, she both certainly the 5:40 show and the 5:45 show at the Three Sisters there with her and Sally doing that show. They just took it over and put their own personality on that and made it as a bit chaotic, a bit crazy, and pushed the show's boundaries. And Matt Gray actually dived in last year to take over when Lydia couldn't come up. Then obviously what happened sadly did happen. And thankfully that's carried on very much in the same spirit.
And that's the launch of 2023.
That's out in the courtyard this year.
Yeah.
Well, not this year, last year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the additions of deck chairs in the Three Sisters courtyard was certainly a bonus this
They
year.
were definitely popular at the launch.
There was a lot of collapsing in the corner.
Yeah. Is that who's talking to you there?
That's Robin Perkins.
All right, I thought that was someone else.
Matty Gray. I think that's Robin Perkins. Yeah, it's definitely Robin Perkins. Right. Still a bit. I blame the photographer for the photo being a little bit blurry there. I don't know who did this dodgy photo. You've managed to put definitely that your camera adds pounds to me as well.
I'm merely a photographer.
But yeah, no, that was a good. I like the launch this year. It was good. It was a bit of a get together and a bit of a party.
People say, "Can you make me more handsome?" And I'm like, "I'm a photographer, not a wizard."
Yeah, make me more handsome. You seem to have cut out all my hair again. I'm not going to mention the lights turning off this time because it's they're off. It's a movement thing. You've got to go and do a circuit of the room to keep it going on. Yes, Cocktail Mafia with Donal looking concerned at whatever I'm showing him on my phone there. I don't know what that is on the phone there.
Gemma there. I think this is actually taken on my phone.
Yeah, this was this would have been the setting up Cocktail Mafia for the first time.
Yeah. Such a nice vibe in there.
Yeah,
it's a bit troublesome with people ordering big, massive cocktail orders before the show, but it's also kind of worth it for the vibe and I don't know, especially love late night in there.
As I understand it from last time I went past, after 150 years, the council have finally finished doing the road outside, so people will actually be able to get to the venue without being diverted via Glasgow. Ridiculous last year. It was like trying to break down the barricades to get to the place.
And that's the room itself.
That is the room.
It's on its way to getting made.
Yeah, everything's dropped off. I don't no idea what I'm doing in the background, sitting down, standing up, or whatever. But yeah, at some point, all the kit has been thrown in the corner. We've gone. It's going to have a drink first.
Yeah. I like the stripes and the triangles and nice. The ceiling, and then all the sort of graffiti or the postcard style painting.
Yeah, it's a good mixture. It's got a good father. It's the only room we had to remove giant golden palm trees. There wasn't a spanner or whatever enough to unweld the giant palm trees from the floor.
I seen them when I first looked at the room.
I had to come back the next day because there wasn't industrial tools big enough to remove the screws, attach them to the floor.
And there's a photo you took.
Oh, brilliant! That was how high can we get these people to climb up the front of Westport Oracle,
or
without how climbing off the ladder? Who's expendable? We'll send Jimmy up the ladder.
I was going to say, or how can we kill Jimmy? Yeah.
Who's got the most public liability insurance? Send him up the ladder.
Yeah, but we actually got the bunting up. I mean, as long as the bunting's safe, that's all it fucking matters.
Exactly. I've just come from Westport Oracle. I was just in there having a chat with the guys, and
is it still like an airplane?
It's still like an airplane.
Excellent.
We're getting some new sound system and light stuff in there.
Cool.
It was great. It was such a late addition to the Fringe last year. I think it was like June. They'd got the venue, they'd opened it, and asked about Fringe shows. So it's been nice to program it properly and then come up with a plan. And we'll recreate that picture in a few months' time.
You will.
It's ridiculously high.
And that's all of us.
That's all of us again.
The setup crew
for setup crew day 450 somewhere. Where is that? Oh, that's down. In Edinburgh somewhere. Down the end of Princes Street. This must be on route somewhere.
It was coming. I think it was coming from Raging Bull to
going down Lothian Road or Princes Street to another venue somewhere.
Yeah. And
we still look
always
fresh
has that look of somebody that's photobombing, no matter even right in the middle of the photograph.
As much as we try and push him out the photo, he keeps coming back. Yeah. Have you got any photos? Hopefully, you got some photos of here at the end of that festival, just to show how ruined and wrecked we are by everything that happened last year. We look fresh. We're happy. Do
you not remember me trying to like get money off you for not publishing them?
Oh, that's a nice one. I like that. Yeah. That's captured the early late show very well.
Yeah. So okay, it's Vlad and Jay, Catherine again, and
that is Mike Shepherd.
Mike Shepherd, My
brain was having to catch up there.
Yeah. Actually, there's a couple of photos there where they were throwing a ball into the audience, and the audience were throwing the ball back. And I did get a couple of good ones, but I just didn't. I don't really think too much about the photographs I'm going to use. I just go back through Facebook posts and private messaging and get them out of there.
My favourite bit you captured in this one is Ian Fox in his customary position, waiting at the end of the bar, going, "It's about time this bloody show finished. It's overrunning again." Jay Sodiger's not stopped talking. He should be on the bucket speech by now, but it's still going.
Jay came down and opened at Edinburgh City Football Club.
Oh yeah,
on the middle of August, and he done great. It was a really good weekend.
He's don't tell him I said this, but he's a good comic and a nice sort of safe pair of hands.
Yeah, he is very professional.
Yeah.
Very
I've heard no one listens to this podcast, so I think we're safe. But no, Jay not finding that.
I think it's Matt Watson under the exit this way. And there you are at the exit again.
I'm obviously putting some money into a card
exit through the gift shop.
Exit this way. Buy your gifts here.
Yeah. That was a really good show. That was in memory of Lydia.
So I guess I was going to say that must have been the tribute show, because I wasn't normally at that one in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And and God, I forget how much, but we raised a really good bit of money in Lydia's memory for Sepsis Trust.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal, quite a very emotional show for everyone, obviously, but a really good and completely crazy send off. But it was a perfect send off for that particular Fringe show.
I remember thinking at the time as well, because it was such a shock. Because there again,
you caught the glamorous side of the venue.
I know, but I like that photograph of you and the picture.
That's quite nice, actually. It's all the offstage stuff that, as the audience members, you don't really see that of the stuck behind the bar, and then behind the backdrop is all the crap from all the shows that's piled up over the last 3 weeks.
I do like capturing that, man, but maybe that's why I'm not getting hired as a photographer for for a sellable product. But I just love getting the photographs of everything around comedy. I think in a few years they're going to be more and more. I'm looking back at these photographs, especially for things like the podcast, and it's always felt important. Now it feels more so.
It's not, and I think things like that as well give people the memories and see the shows and see those bits of a show, especially that show that we did a half hour of sit up every day in 10 minutes.
And talking about Sully in the 5 o'clock.
That was Matty Gray brought Barack Obama on there.
Yeah, that was a really good show, man.
That was excellent.
I did have a feeling taking a lot of photographs at that time because of what it was in memoriam. I'm like, should I be taking photographs? And there's a wee voice saying, no, he's probably taking more.
Yeah, no, I think so, and I think everyone appreciating it. Lots of memory. A lot of that will come up again this year as well, of course.
Yeah. Sully done great. But he just couldn't stop putting that award on the sex dolls. I think he's got a problem.
It was like magnetic. that award. It was the perfect size.
No, I've got the award. Where did I put that sex doll?
No, it's the British Comedy Guide's fault for supplying awards with glory holes.
And of course, that's what we do it for. The audience.
Yeah.
The audience.
That's nice. That's a nice little atmospheric picture of the
I
audience there.
had another one. It was a lot crisper, and it was colour, and it was more of the audience, because that's only like one tiny section of the room. But I don't know. I felt as if that was a better representation.
I imagine for yourself, it's difficult to get the audience vibe in that long room at the Three Sisters, because it is very long and wide. You're trying to get that crowd feeling all the way back.
Yeah, well, there is a colour one. It's crisper, and there's more people in it. But I think that just sells the vibe more. There's also, I don't often get a lot of photographs of the audience, because you're switching from taking a photograph of the performer, or like a bottle of Index, to then all of a sudden pointing your camera at like 150 people who don't all want their picture taken.
No. They want, hang on, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, if they see you, they get self-conscious.
I thought he was creepy looking when he was facing that way, but now his camera's facing me. No, I don't like this.
Oh yeah, and that's the gang outside after the show. Yeah. Us with Lydia's dad and sister.
Yeah. They were really appreciative of the whole vibe that night, man.
No, it's very, very weird feeling, melancholy feeling once all that stuff was happening. Yeah, it was a tough year last year.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, it was said at the time quite often that the last thing she would have wanted was for it to stop.
Oh no, absolutely. You know, it's the old show must go on adage, but that was the same for herself or any of us. If anything happens to anyone involved with the Fringe, it's like no, the shows go on.
And part of the legacy
that's what we're all up here, every year of our lives coming up here doing it, trying to achieve.
And part of the legacy now, it for me, is if somebody isn't about for whatever reason, I'm more likely now to reach out and say I miss you. Genuinely, because I kept meaning to message.
It's always a shock. You just don't know what's going to happen to anyone. Next week, tomorrow.
And that's the end of the.
That's it.
That's it. So we've looked at the past. What about the future? What does it hold for you? What does it hold for me? All of that stuff.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows every day, forever.
I don't know. Like, you've had some health difficulties in the past, and I always kind of worry about how much you seem to do.
So this time this year, I'm feeling vaguely happy about getting to Edinburgh this year in one piece in August and making it through a festival. So touch wood. With operation number 3 last year, things seem to have subsided.
Good stuff, man. Excellent.
Become better. So yes, a healthher year, hopefully.
You do a lot of the Fringe. You just are running about drinking. It's like the momentum that keeps you together.
Well, that's it. For everyone, really. But I always describe it to people. Pretty much, we get in the van 10 days before the Fringe, and that is solid until we get back out the van, back in London, 3 or 4 days after the Fringe is finished. And if that's it, that's it. You do 18-hour days, 20-hour days, and that's it. You're going. If you stop, you fall to pieces.
That's true. My friend Andrew Dunnan was actually the first guest on this round of podcasts. He didn't come to the Fringe last year because of his mental health. And I said, mate, that's the land of the mental health. That's where you come to go full circle.
It's a good decision if you're feeling like you are going to have issues and difficulties.
Oh yeah.
The Fringe is definitely one. I think
there's a touch of Lourdes, as well. I do think it's. I totally respect Andrew's decision not to come.
Yeah.
But I know Andrew, and I wish he'd came. I wish he came because I think he would have found he was not alone. Not by a long shot.
No. There's around about 4,000 shows. That's about 3,999 in a mental health crisis by the end of it, and I include myself in that statement. By the end of it,
it's worth it. It is genuinely worth it. Like the first, I almost enjoy the first week of September now. I say almost, but I do like that.
I do because I go on holiday to somewhere warm.
I'm usually just in the house, but I just enjoy that feeling of job done. And catching up with box sets of what we do in the shadows and stuff. In fact, they put on Rick and Morty late last year, which I think was just to fuck with me. I was looking forward to having Rick and Morty to catch up.
Any movies that have been released in August, anything that started, anything like that, because once you're in that Fringe bubble, that's it. There's nothing else in August at all.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience. I remember actually talking to you on the podcast before in the lockdown about how it looked to me like a sober Glastonbury. Not for some, not quite so sober, but that's how I've approached it every year. It's like I used to do drugs and go to Glastonbury and raves and stuff, and now I don't and go to the Fringe and do comedy. And I get pretty much what I was getting from the drugs and the raves from comedy and
you
shows.
Get that same high, that same buzz from that from the adrenaline going from successful gigs, from just that whole buzz of being around. City full of like-minded people.
It's great, man. And so, what's your personal plans for this year? What's your what you personally looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking for. We've got a new venue. I always look forward to a new venue. Love the smell of a new venue in the morning. Your Kick-Ass Hostel, which you went to visit for me while I wasn't in the country to check it out, and that's new this year. So I love all the venues and going back to venues, but when you've got somewhere new and it's an extra project and something new that can add.
I did have a good feeling about the minute I walked in. I just the look and
a few hours before we recorded this. I was in there and it's like, this has got the right vibes about it.
I said that to the guy right away. And I was like, fortunately, it's not me getting the venue because I would have some really fucking dumb ideas that Alex isn't going to have. Yes, that was good, man. I'm glad you sent me in as well because it was a wee test of my ability to do it. And
it's always weird. I very rarely would take on a venue without being there or seeing it. It just happened at that time of the year where I was literally getting on a plane to go to the other side of the world, and it was the Fringe deadline coming up.
So who do I know that's crazy enough to know what they're doing and will definitely take 5 million photographs? They'll feel like being there.
Who will definitely have a camera with him. But someone in, again, comedy, shows, you've got a vibe about the place. And I'd had a lot of good conversations on the phone with the guys there, and was very positive about it. But it's just to have that eyeball in a place and go, this is right, and it's going to work. And the venue was right. You were right.
I don't know offhand who you've got there this year.
I have no idea off the top of my head. I'm at the stage where I tend to start memorising who's where in about a month's time. It's just a blind panic of getting all the shows registered and all the information in.
So I definitely believe that you've got thousands of shows.
It feels like it. I can tell you exactly how many shows I've got at the moment. It's 352.
Whoa!
Because I was sitting on the spreadsheet last night at about midnight, putting the last couple of bits together. Before getting up at 5 o'clock this morning to get a plane up to Edinburgh.
Well, thanks for the time you spent on this podcast.
Now it's been good to have a little chat and hang around for an hour or so between running around and ticking off the list of jobs for today.
But it is still weird to be in this room when it's not performed. But so you've also got Brighton before Edinburgh.
Yeah. That kicks off in 3 weeks' time, and I always look forward to that. It's a nice sort of middle of the road Fringe, middle of everything. It's not so busy. It's not quiet. It's not huge. It's nice. It's just a nice place to hang out for the month.
An appetizer before August.
I've got 5 venues there, not 105. You get a bit of time off during the week. There's not shows 24 hours a day every day, so it's a nice build up, and a lot of acts use it for previews for what they're going to do up here.
Work
so
in
part of that whole process, I start talking to acts in December, if not earlier for some acts, but the applications start coming in for Edinburgh in December, and then from those initial conversations, then getting on to seeing that show for the first time as a preview, usually in Brighton, that they're getting stuff together and preparing it, and then seeing the final product up here in August. It's great seeing that creative process going right the way through.
Definitely, man.
Of people getting the shows together.
Yeah, man. And you've been in Leicester as well, but you don't usually go to Leicester,
No. Last time I was in Leicester, it must be. It would have been before 2010. I was last in Leicester because that 2010 was the first time I went out to do the Aussie festivals.
See, I thought about Brighton and Leicester this year, and I just threw all my eggs in the basket of Glasgow. I'm talking about that in the break, and I don't know. I would like to go a bit further afield.
Yeah, I can highly recommend Brighton. Certainly, have a chat with Vladimir McTavish. It's one of his little treats going down there each year. He's it's nice. May is the perfect time to prepare for Edinburgh. But Brighton's such a nice city, such a great place to be. You feel like you're on a bit of a holiday while you're doing some Fringe shows.
I've been down to Brighton a few times, just like off duty. But I was thinking what you just said there about you get a few days off a week. So is Brighton really like a weekend?
Yeah, it's like anything outside the Edinburgh Fringe. It's the vast majority of people that come and see things are locals, so everybody is works around the working day. So there's shows in the evenings during the week, but people aren't out late. People aren't seeing stuff at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. So you've got a bit of time before shows kick off at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night at venues during the week. And then, of course, at the weekend, it's madness.
Because we're talking about it as well, I think about when I do Glasgow next year, I might focus on Thursday to Sunday, which is actually what I do 3 or 4 twats here anyway. And I think that's probably the right call.
I've not done Glasgow, but again, it's got to be the same. You're performing to people who live in or around Glasgow.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, don't really see any shows that start any earlier than 6 o'clock through the week.
Okay,
really. You know, I think 5:30 is the earliest I've seen, and it was one that I booked. Because I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I would say, that's a bit of a rush for people to get out of work.
Well, there was actually a Tuesday and a Sunday. It was there was extenuating circumstances, but I don't know 5:30 for the last day, and I've actually moved venue for that. I registered another venue and took the show there because it just even on a Sunday 5:30 in my area wasn't a good time.
Yeah,
you know?
It's always interesting having this conversation the other way around with people who have done other festivals, who've done Brighton, particularly being out in Adelaide for the last month or so and chatting to acts out there that looking to come to Edinburgh to actually go, yeah, you could put on a show at 3 o'clock in the afternoon every day for a month and you'll get a full room of people if you do it well. Whereas everyone's using 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
Are they all going to be unemployed?
No one quite. I love coming up to Edinburgh and seeing acts that are doing it for the first time, travelling and having had experience of other festivals, and then just seeing the ridiculous size and shape and everything that goes on in Edinburgh, and the fact that you can be there and do your shows at 10 o'clock in the morning every day and it works, or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Shows do well at that time. Like 9:30 in the morning, they do well. It's weird.
It's a good time. There's people around to see them. There's tourists. There's people who will be out to see them, and you can also get people out reviewing and industry and media because there's not as much on that time of day. There's gaps in people's diaries.
So that's the thing that they will actually sort of make time for the smaller shows. And,
it's easy because there's not 1,000 shows on there, but the dozen shows that are on at 10 o'clock that fit into a theatre or a comedy category, it's much easier to get people to see it. As long as your reviewer's not in the loft bar until 5 o'clock in the morning the night before and then has to cancel due to a massive hangover.
As we're saying that, so I realised I've actually never been here like before, probably about 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Because I'm always going home to Glasgow, and I quite like that.
True,
I like that decompression, like the leaving after midnight, even if it's a megabus or I left home. A couple of hours, 6 hours sleep, a couple of hours with my cat, something to eat, and just the feeling that I'm away from it all.
I don't understand how you can do that. That sounds terrible, getting out of the fringe bubble.
But it's also, I'm building up to my excuse for some poorly edited photos there. Like, I think the ones that were poorly edited is when I hadn't had that decompression.
You not had the decompression, but you'd had several more pints.
Well, I don't drink though. So you've just outed me as an alcoholic in my podcast. Like, thanks. My 10 listeners think that I'm clean. Like,
no, come on. Obviously, we dragged off the streets of the Cowgate at 5 o'clock in the morning when the nightclubs have kicked off.
I was actually Gary Lynch messaged me that after Glasgow Comedy Festival, and he said about the social aspect of comedy, because I tend to just only work, like or work and perform, and I like spending time with people, but when it gets too social. That's when I worry about my sobriety.
Right. You know? Okay. Yeah. Well, I've not properly drunk for nearly 10 years now. 9-10 years. The occasional drink, but pretty much been sober for 10 years, and I've just found myself getting used to it. I'm very easy to go and grab a Diet Coke or a soft drink and can still hang around with people in those bars at stupid o'clock at night.
So don't worry about it. I'm just going to go back. It's a strange world when you go back to Glasgow because it's safer. It's better for your mental health.
Better for your mental health.
That's I think I might actually be a proper comic and Glaswegian for that one. And I'll say, so really looking forward to catching up in the Fringe. I'm really grateful for you coming on. It's fantastic to see you. And see you in August, then.
See you in
Or
August.
July, actually, because I'm coming.
I'll see you in July when we're starting building venues again. That soon.
Cheers. Thanks very much, man.
Cheers.
Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana do 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 do.